Welcome back to Spotlight. He talks the kind of language the UAW loves to hear. A minimum wage for all, a good education, and economic opportunity for everyone. Mark Schauer has been billing himself as the candidate for working class Michiganders. He stopped by Broadcast House recently for his interview in our Spotlight. I remember back in Mackinac Island over a year ago, I want to say May of 13, you're standing on the porch. A lot of people didn't quite know who you were, and probably by same with the reporters. But you've been around the state. You've been in the legislature. You've been in the halls of Congress. But you said, I want to become the next governor of this state. What have you learned, number one, since then, from what you were telling us on the porch then? And it was all about education then. It was all about education.
Absolutely.
You're still talking about education, but has your perspective maybe broadened since?
It has. You know, I've traveled in most parts of our incredible state. My wife's a Uper, so we spend time in the UP and visit our grandkids there. But I've campaigned in every one of our 83 counties. Michigan is an amazing state. It affirms to me that our people are our most valuable asset to us building a strong economy, and our Great Lakes and our natural resources are our second most precious asset as a state in terms of our quality of life and driving our economy. But
will you protect the environment in the Great Lakes as much as Governor Bill Milliken, who sort of made that his mantle?
I think Governor Milliken was an environmentalist, and I will be the Great Lakes governor. You know, we're surrounded by 20% of the world's fresh water, and I think the governor of Michigan has a special obligation, special responsibility to lead. Climate change is a challenge that we must address. I think the governor of Michigan can help lead that. That's why I've proposed to raise the bar on the generation of electricity from clean, renewable sources. It protects our air, protects our water, makes us less dependent on outside energy sources that are very expensive to us, and we really have nothing to show for it in terms of manufacturing jobs that we could be creating. So not only will it protect the environment in our Great Lakes, but create tens of thousands of manufacturing jobs. Chuck, we can manufacture, we can design, develop, engineer every component of a wind turbine or solar panel. So the Great Lakes are precious to us. It makes us special here in Michigan. But what I've also heard from people is how important their local schools are. Everywhere, whether it's a small rural school district in the Upper Peninsula or an urban school district, parents understand that education really is the key to making Michigan economically competitive, but doing right by our kids. And there's been a big debate over education funding.
You and the governor
big debate, and I am happy to have this debate.
And over the funding and who's putting more into it, who's taking more out of it.
All you got to do, Chuck, is visit a school. I was at William Ford Elementary in Dearborn recently and talked to, you know, the principal gave us a tour. I met with teachers, I met with students, and I saw students crammed into classrooms that literally used to be supply rooms.
Bottom line is you believe that education
is our number one priority.
The way to fully bring this state back.
It is, because the states that have lower unemployment rates, and Michigan continues to have one of the worst unemployment rates in the country. We're one of the few states that hasn't recovered all the jobs lost in the Great Recession.
But it's certainly better than when the governor took office.
Well, but let's be clear about why that is. The auto comeback, the auto rescue that I was a part of, Rick Snyder said that was overblown.
You don't think he gets any credit, though?
Well, look, would never say that, but the data is clear that Michigan's economy created 100,000 jobs. His first year in office didn't have anything to do with his policies. It had to do with the auto rescue, the comeback in manufacturing that I fought for when I was in Congress. But since his $1.8 billion corporate tax cut, what we've seen is a slowing of Michigan's economy. Our rate of economic growth is just a third of the nation's. So these choices of what I hear from people is not only the importance of their local schools, and we got to replace the money that was cut from their classroom because it's hurting our kids, but also raising taxes on retiree pensions, I'm incredulous that the governor thinks that's somehow fair. Raising taxes on working families, you know, working family with 2 kids like our 2 grown daughters, seeing their taxes go up 77%, raising taxes on poor people, all to give a $1.8 billion corporate tax break. It doesn't work.
Congressman, let me ask you.
It hurts families.
Let me ask you a question that I think some will be concerned with. You have, throughout this campaign, billed yourself as the working class candidate. That would suggest to some, especially to some business people, some people who have done very well financially, who've worked hard for what they've gotten, that when you get in office, you're going to sock it to the rich. Is that the case?
No, all they need to do is talk to businesses I've represented and fought for my entire career. You know, companies like Kellogg in my own hometown. Companies like Duncan Aviation.
So you can work with the business community.
My wife was a small business owner. Here's the thing. I may not have been CEO of Gateway Computers, which our current governor was, and took bankrupt and all the manufacturing jobs to China before bankruptcy. My wife owned a small retail business, created 5 jobs, created wealth in the economy, had to deal with all the red tape that's there that small businesses have to deal with. I know what it's like to have banks and not being willing to loan and help you get started. I helped change the law to help a brake company, Brembo Brakes, which, by the way, puts the brakes on the Chevy Corvette, the car of the year, in Homer, Michigan, in the middle of a cornfield. They were looking at adding manufacturing jobs in Mexico. I convinced them to create those jobs right in Michigan. That's what I've done. I've spent my entire life fighting for businesses and fighting for an economy that works for regular people.
We need to take a little break. We'll hurry right back. Stay with us.